This is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, President Jonathan orders immediate cancellation of immigration aptitude tests, gives 3 automatic slots to families of those who lost their lives in the stampede. Technocrats at the Nigerian Economic Summit Group frown at the decay and dwindling education standards, recommend proper funding and partnership with the private sector. Federal government nominates Justice Zainab Bulkachua as President of the Court of Appeal. And Ukraine makes plans to withdraw its soldiers from the Crimean Peninsula.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's external reserves hit a 19-month low midway into March.
And on sports news tonight, Flamingos eye second win at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup as the team trade tackles with Colombia later tonight.
In the Federal Capital Territory, where the Federal Executive Council has cancelled last Saturday's immigration recruitment tests conducted nationwide, during which about 20 people died at various centres. Addressing State House correspondents after the weekly council meeting, the Minister of Information, Mr. Labaran Maku, said the President has directed that fresh tests be conducted by a special committee to be led by the chairman of the Civil Service Commission. He added that the President also directed that families who lost their dear ones during the exercise be given 3 employment slots, and those who were injured get automatic employment in the service.
That pushed the case down. So people who
preliminary objection.
Council devoted the entire proceedings today to condolences to the families of young Nigerians that lost their lives in last Saturday's tragic immigration recruitment exercise. The Federal Executive Council noted with grief and deep regrets the tragic loss of lives of young Nigerians who died in different centers across the country in the ill-fated Nigeria immigration recruitment exercise. The Federal Executive Council, in sending condolences to the families of the deceased, and also in sending special wishes to those who are injured and still undergoing treatment in hospitals in parts of the country, expressed total regret that this tragedy took place at all. Council members were full of grief when the issue was discussed today at the Federal Executive Council. We expressed our condolences to the President and the Vice President, and we indeed reassured Nigerians that all of us who have the privilege of serving this nation at this time are feeling the pain with the families of our young ones who lost their lives. We are parents and we know what this means to those who have had the opportunity to train their children and are waiting for the opportunity for these children to now take their place and help their families, only to lose them under this very, very difficult circumstance as took place on Saturday. We reaffirmed our commitment to ensuring that this kind of tragedy does not repeat itself in this country. The President of the Federal Republic, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, also took certain measures at Council today, which he announced to the Federal Executive Council. The first is that the immigration exercise has been completely cancelled, and he has directed that a new exercise will be conducted under the chairmanship of the Chairman Federal Civil Service Commission. A special committee to be chaired by the Chairman Federal Civil Service Commission will conduct the recruitment exercise to fill the vacancies in the Nigerian Immigration Service.
Minister of Information, Mr. Labaran Mako. While the Senate has passed into law a bill that prescribes a 5-year jail term for human traffickers, the decision was taken after the Senate considered the report of its Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on the amendment of the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Act. The amendment also prescribes a ₦1 million fine for human trafficking offenders. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, describes the passage of the bill as a good development.
This is indeed a very remarkable bill and a piece of legislation. We believe that those whose responsibility will be to enforce, apply this law, will do that diligently to ensure that our labor will not be in vain.
Well, the Senate President has urged nations across the world to renew their commitments to creating stable political environments and ending the incessant wars ravaging some countries. Senator David Mark told lawmakers from 164 nations at the ongoing Inter-Parliamentary Union Conference in Geneva to adhere to democratic principles of rule of law, transparency, accountability and representative government. Our correspondent, Linda Kigbe, has more.
War and conflicts continue to leave imprints across the globe. From Syria to Sudan, Central African Republic and even Nigeria, war and conflicts have left thousands dead and millions displaced. The biggest casualties are women and children. No wonder that the issue of peace and democracy continue to dominate talks on the second day of the Inter-Parliamentary Union Assembly in Geneva. Parliamentarians were reminded that they, as a voice of the people, must be at the heart of reconciliation and peace building.
Parliamentarians need to be an integral part of this process in identifying priorities, in monitoring progress, mobilizing resources for development, enhancing accountability through legislative oversight, and giving voice to the most vulnerable through proper representation.
Addressing the Assembly, Nigeria Senate President David Mark reminded the IPU of a need to reflect on the role of parliaments in addressing the multitude of challenges across the world's conflict zones.
Recent political crises in Eastern Europe and the sub-Saharan region are a stark reminder that we must remain even vigilant as we strive to achieve peaceful coexistence between and within nations.
As parliamentarians from other countries reflect on the crisis in different parts of the world, Nigerian lawmakers say they are using the opportunity which the IPU presents to engage with lawmakers in neighboring countries to end the problem of insurgency in Nigeria. Terrorists from the dreaded Boko Haram sect have used neighboring countries which share borders with Nigeria as a hideout to set the northeastern part of the country on fire.
I'm taking time off to talk to my colleagues in our neighboring countries for them to assist us fighting